Let's see. Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Caitlin Southers-Wallace, and I just wanted to give you a quick lowdown of what my digital art project will be looking like. I'm gonna say sorry right now if I slur, if I stop to wipe drool off my mouth right now. I have a wisdom tooth coming in, and it's it's a lot of pain. And my significant other was nice enough to go out and get one of those little like tubes of oral gum numbing creams. So if I drool, it's because of that. And I'm very sorry to start with. But down to business. My name is Caitlin Southers-Wallace today, and I'm going to be giving you a quick lowdown on digital art. Basically, the basics of what you're going to need for your digital art starting up kit type deal is you're going to need a digital tablet. It's pretty much a glorified mouse that you can use pressure sensitivity on. A computer, which I would show you mine, but it's recording me at the moment. You're going to need a drawing program, and then after that, all you're going to need is your creativity. Anything that you feel like you want to try, go ahead and do. You're not going to waste any product. You're not going to waste any paper. Everything is pretty much just based on your electric bill. That's the only extra thing that you're going to have to pay. And since I live in an apartment that I don't have to pay electricity, I'm great with that. Okay, so this is a newer piece that I did that I really enjoyed. I like the colors. I like the way that digital art just lets you choose from a wide spectrum of colors. You don't have to go out and buy new paints. You don't have to go out and buy new Copic markers. And if you don't know what a Copic is a artist marker that is saturated with ink and has a brush tip nib. It's just beautiful. It comes out really pretty. But you could see in here that there's weighted lines. There's fun little like ways the line just slowly goes away. Like, all of this is done properly if you have the right setup for it. I know my painting program very well. I use Paint Tool Sci. It's really easy to use, really easy to customize, really fun. I know my tablet. I have my buttons set up so that I have an easier access to the undo and redo buttons. I know my driver. I have gone into my driver settings and changed it because I use a very light hand when I draw, so I had to bump the sensitivity up so that it would catch my slight differences in a light hand and a little bit of a harder hand to get weighted lines. Weighted lines are a bare necessity in art because it gives you more of an appealing line to look at. Instead of having just a blunt line like this thick throughout the entire drawing, it slowly wades off into a small little point, and it makes it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Sorry. Also, you are able to go in. You need a driver. You absolutely need a driver. I thought that I did not need a driver with this model. There was no driver on the Wacom driver site that matched my exact make and model, but that's because it's an older tablet, and a lot of the older tablet drivers were pretty much the same, so they just made it into one driver and handed it out for everything between, like, I know between 440 and 640, because a friend has a same model but different model number. So like, he has a 640 and we got him the same driver that I had, and it works just fine. Another thing is I wanted to show you it's a dramatization for me of the differences between knowing what you're doing and having no clue what you're doing. And this is, I have no idea what I'm doing on the tablet. I love it, but I hate it at the same time because all the weighted lines you see in here are because I went there, put the line down, went back with an eraser to sharpen it, and it still doesn't look good. Like, all of these were made by me physically drawing the line and then going back and erasing the tip, and there's a lot of other issues with this drawing. I spent 6 to 7 hours on this, and let me give you an example of something that I did in 2 hours. I drew this little cutie in 2 hours. I shaded it. I made everything nice and pretty. I gave him a lot of speckling to show that he has scales. This is actually a drawing I did for a friend's business where they make wood etched in tokens for a game called Magic the Gathering, and this is the Drake token. I love how it came out. I might even color it later on today. Like, his eyes are perfect. Everything about this drawing makes me super happy that I did it and that it's actually on a physical piece of material, I should say, because it's not paper. It's on a little wooden card type deal. But you can tell in here there's weighted lines, there's a lot of highlights, there's just a lot less effort, but a lot better of the payout. And that's what I want to help you with today. I want to help you get to know your tablet, get to know your computer, get to know your program, so that you can just go out there and start making beautiful pieces instead of having to go, well, this doesn't work, I have to do this instead. Well, that didn't work either, so I should do this instead, blah, 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 and go on in that train for 4 months, sadly. I'm going to show you guys real quick what my painting program looks like. And this is my painting program. It's very simple. Here is the brushes, my palette that I have all of my saved colors in. This right here is my favorite program, like my favorite part of the program, just because I could go up here, hey, I want more of a darker blue, like a more royal blue. I can just go over this way. Well, maybe I wanted a little bit teal, so I could go over this way. And I could get a better color. Oh, maybe I want pink, or fuchsia. That's fuchsia right there. Or maybe I want to tone down the fuchsia so that it's more of a softer fuchsia. Maybe I want to make it dark. Oh gosh. Maybe I want to make it darker and just have like a dark fuchsia that kind of looks more purple. But you see what I mean there. I can use the hue bar to change the actual color that I want, like yellow, green, blue. Like this is the whole spectrum of the Roy G. Biv. Right here is the saturation. How much color do I want in it? Do I want a lot of color? Do I want it to be very, very vibrant? Or do I want to tone it down to have more of a gray? And here is the value bar, which I can change both the saturations and the value to give me more of a tone rather than a hue or a shade. Which, I'm sorry if that was confusing, because this is the hue bar, but if you add white to something, it's making it a hue. If you add black to something, it's making it a shade. It's just some basic design, I guess, for me. So I don't confuse you guys anymore. This right here is your little section for layers, and these are your layer effects. I really like using these layer effects because if I go over here and change this, I can change it to a multiple of different effects. Like if I want it to be multiply color, it means that this color is going to lay on top of the past color. If I want to go to screen, it's another way of laying it on top, but it has different hues and values and ways that it does it. Overlay, which is what I usually use for my shading. I'll put my shading on one layer and then overlay it over the base color because I don't know, it's just the way that I do it. I could do, I changed the opacity, which is a good thing to do, especially if you sketched out something and you want to do a better sketch over top of it. Just lower the opacity to about 15 and just go at drawing your new sketch layer. Luminosity is like a highlight, whereas shade is more like putting a dark tint on stuff. And then on top of that, you can do both, which sometimes I like to use for my shading, sometimes I don't. It's all a big crapshoot of what I'm trying to get an effect for. Overlay and screen are very good effects if you want to add some kind of coloration, like if you have a painting and you want to add a light coloration to it, like if you want to make it yellow light instead of just a flat color, what you would do, I'm going to erase all those real quick. I'm going to add yellow. I'm going to make it vibrant. And I'm going to draw all over this. Why, you might ask? To get a yellow light. Now, it looks funny right now. And it's really slowing down. But if I go over here to overlay, it just kind of tinges everything just slightly yellow. I can change the opacity so that it looks just a little bit warmer. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do, and it is a lot of experimentation. I can't help you with everything. I can't do everything for you because it comes down to just basic preferences. I went online and I found a lot of brush tutorials, like how to set brushes so that it looks like this, this, or this. I have a brush right here called Cloud that adds this little, like, awkward shape to everything, and it layers really nice, so you can get really fluffy looking clouds. You know, basically it's just down to artist preference at that point. I can't tell you what brushes to use because I don't know what you're going for. Even if you tell me what you're going for, it might not look right from what you had on your head to your canvas. And that's also something I wanted to talk about real quick. Don't ever sit there and say that you can't because you can't get it right the first time around. Art is something that you have to practice. You have to go through a lot of trial and error. It's like science. Art is like science. You sit there, you have an idea of something, you kind of figure out how you're going to do this idea, you test out this idea. If it doesn't go right, scrap it and try it again. And it's all a matter of, is this idea really worth me trying it over and over and over again? Well, I usually say yes, because a lot of the ideas we have, we might not like it later on in the future, but we sat there and we learned those ideas. We learned how to do weighted lines, we learned how to do shading, we learned how to do this, that, and the other, because we sat there and tried out everything over and over and over again. And, you know, if I had any advice for my past self, that's what I would sit there and say, because I used to get down on myself a lot for how my drawings looked, because they weren't cute enough, because they weren't spooky enough, because they weren't this, that, or the other, like, couldn't get the facial expressions and stuff like that. And it's like, well, just keep trying. Because, really, that's all you can do. You can't say you're going to give up because you don't get it right the first few times. You can't say, oh, I'm just not good at drawing, because really everybody can become good at drawing. Some people just get a basic head start. And, you know, it's all hand-eye coordination. You train that, you can learn how to draw. You know, it's all boom, boom, boom. Let's retry, retry, retry. And that's really how you become better as an artist. You become better as a person too, because once you sit there and you try and put this effort into something, yeah, people may critique it, yeah, people may make fun of it. I have a lot of experience with that, being a furry artist. People are just going to be people, and it's up to you to either take their good criticisms or let their negative criticisms get to your head. Don't ever let the negative criticism get to your head, because it's not worth it. It's not worth holding that hate, that sadness, that I'm not good enough feeling, because it just drains you emotionally and it gets you to a point where you don't want to draw, and it's really sad, because personally, drawing is like a huge part of my life. Like, if I wasn't able to draw, I think I would have been sad and just not done anything for my entire life, because it's like, well, I can't create, so I might as well just go crawl underneath a rock and cry. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If you have any comments or concerns, or you want to know more about Paint Tool Sci or anything like that, I'm free to sit here for a while, and I'm free to actually give a drawing tutorial if that's what you want. I love helping people learn, and I love helping people stay motivated about their art because art is precious to the human soul. So, yeah, hope you all have a good day today, and I hope you all have a better day tomorrow. Peace.